All right, hello, everybody. We are bringing you the let's call it the nightcap to the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 4 kickoff matchup. A couple hours ago, we had a race between these two teams. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but yeah, a couple hours ago, we had a race between these two teams. Hitaka and Ase raced Walther and Magnificent. And Shaktool's digging game, Hitaka and Ase took a bit of an advantage early on and just never let up. And now we're bringing you part 2 of this race where Wallkicks is in for Magnificent, and we're going to see how this goes. Calling this, I'm Reg. I'm joined by Tracy M. So Tracy, what are we looking at?
We're looking at two really good teams here. Shaktool's digging game and NewSwagaJackson were actually in the same division last year. NewSwagaJackson having substituted out Wallkicks, who we're going to see for the first time today, for Kern. Of course, they were old SwagaJackson last year, so I guess Wallkicks makes them new. Shaktool's digging game returning the same players as last year. Their third is Asdor, who's watching this one. And those guys finished tied for third place in the league last year, so I think that's a good indication of how they're doing. But they were in such a tight division that I believe, if I remember correctly, almost something like 5 or 6 teams had a shot to get into the playoffs going into the last week. So NewSwagaJackson was definitely in it till the end.
Yeah, and with a league format like that, if you can make every game count across the 7 weeks of the league, then just as a viewer, you love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are names that people should be familiar with. Asi, Hitaka, Walther, Wallkicks, all of them. Just all really good players here. So we should see some good stuff here.
Yeah, been around for a while. Probably seeing him play tournaments, see him play various other races. All very experienced and high quality runners here. And it does look like, unlike last race, we don't actually have anybody going for a Houlihan start right off here. Uncle and then north and south routes to Kakariko, excuse me, but Uncle's got the goods today.
Yeah, we got a Moon Pearl sitting there in the Uncle chest, so Daka picking that up. Gonna let Asi know. Asi doesn't really need to rush to get that because all that doesn't get us Dark World access until we have a few other items. So Asi gonna pick up this cape, which could be significant. We had what I referred to as a triple Aga seed in the last race, where we had to do Aga for Dark World, we had to do Aga for a hook shot, and we had to do Aga because, well, it is all dungeons, so you just have to do Aga. So.
Yep. And if you're gonna play a mode where you've got to kill Aghanim, it's always kind of interesting to see it early on rather than just see it right before you go into Ganon's Tower. But that is something to mention. For people who didn't see the first race, the format of this race and this entire week of this league, you can see it on the screen there, but we're playing co-op info share and all dungeons. So gotta clear all 10 dungeons listed on the tracker there, Eastern Palace or Turtle Rock. Gotta kill Aghanim 1 at the top of the Hyrule Castle Tower. Gotta kill Aghanim 2 at the top of Ganon's Tower. Then you can go kill Ganon. And these runners... Yep, and these runners are sharing info as they go.
Yeah, and what can get interesting in this particular mode is you can actually have progression towards pendant dungeons in GT. We didn't see that in the last race, but I know Hitaka and Asi have been practicing a lot, and they had 3 straight seeds where they had a flute in Ganon's Tower to get to pendant Myers. So these things can happen. I hope that doesn't happen, because that's never fun. In fact, the last one they did, the flute was on Moldorm 2 chest.
Yeah, well, we do see that mirror there on Wallkick's side, so everybody's going to have that one fairly shortly, but that's one of those progression items that could be in Ganon's Tower for a Pendant Swamp. Yep. But all dungeons has absolutely no impact on the logic of the randomizer itself. It's enforced by the randomizer that you've got to kill everything before you can hurt Ganon, but items are still placed exactly the same as they were before.
Yeah. And if you're wondering about the progression in Ganon's Tower, well, I mean, technically that happens in normal seas. Just you don't have to go back and do those pendant dungeons in normal seas. So, oh, there's a flute, nice and early.
Yep. Early flute's great. It's your fast travel option.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
It'd be nice to see because like they had the axe, they had the stuff you would need to do stuff in Death Mountain once they killed Aga, but they didn't have the means to get there for quite a while in the last seed. So
yeah. The other note there is Wallkicks missed that flute, so
yeah, he'll get it. I mean, Walter knows where it is, so
yeah, it's just because it's a co-op thing. I think Wallkicks felt a lot less bad about going for like Blind's hideout and the well without bombs.
Yep, exactly.
And then it turned out to bite him here, but he knows it's there. He knows that he's going to have to go back for it. So,
you know, and he might be able to combine that in with something else. So, you know, maybe if we get he's got, oh, they both have a bottle, so that won't be it. But, you know, maybe a magic bat check, or even just when they first go into the dark world in that area. Nice for other runners, because a lot of times you like to be able to flute straight to South Shore, whichever one of your runners are doing. Of course, Wallkick's doing it here, but I don't think Asi or Hitaka has hit that yet, so one of them is going to just be able to flute straight there, and the other one will choose something else to do.
yeah, you've got like Death Mountain, as you mentioned earlier. Could check out the Eastern Palace area, but a little less appealing without a bow, even if we don't have the map check.
Yeah, Death Mountain not most appealing. I mean, you don't have the boomerang's not too bad for getting to the old man, but that's, you know, an out of logic check. There's only one in logic check right now. But you can get that save quit spot, which is the big reason to go there if you do go there right now. Although with the flute's not nearly as big a deal.
Yeah, ideally with the flute, you're not save quitting that much at all, especially with the mirror in hand for when you get
Plus
to the
mirror,
dark world.
yeah, you might go a long time before you save and quit. And in co-op seats, sometimes if there's nothing on the old man, the second player sometimes just, you know, if you have the flute, you just never even do it.
Right. And we did see actually a blue male top left, bottom right for Walther and Aussie there, both hitting that Aegina's cave at the same time. I figured their partners probably skip.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on where the other mail upgrades are. Although green mail, I mean, any of these runners can deal with just green mail. The upgrade, though, from green to blue is just so much greater than from, say, blue to red.
Yeah, red mail is just a super luxury item that pretty much nobody goes out of their way for.
No, there's never. It's very. I mean, if it's just like a second out of your way, sure, but beyond that, no. Oh, nice hammer. Hammer on Ice Rod Cave.
Beats hammer and Ice Palace.
Absolutely, which is what we saw in the previous match. So don't have to worry about that. We are just a glove away from Dark World access now.
Yes, but Walther and Wallkicks still don't know about that Moon Pearl.
No, they do not.
On the other hand here, though, with a weapon in hand, might see Walther go down to escape sooner rather than later. I guess he's doing the mountain now, but after that...
Yeah, we see on Shaktool's side, I like that Asi's the one going and doing escape. Since he had to go pick up that Moon Pearl that Hitaka already had anyway, this makes a lot of sense. He's got a boomerang and bomb, so he should be able to do this pretty easily. Even just regular bomb strats, Asi shouldn't have trouble with. But it's nice to have that boomerang just in case things go wrong, because then you just freeze the guard like that, and you just put the bomb right on there. And there's red mail. This could be a red mail for one player and a green mail for the other.
Yeah, if there's nothing in the boomerang chest or Zelda cell, there's really no reason for Hitaka to go into the castle.
I would say this would be even a less likely spot to go pick up a mail upgrade than the other. And Hitaka gonna get that hammer, so that'll be good. Good for Shaktool's digging game. So a lot of money sitting there on Spec Rock that we actually can get because we have that mirror. So if Zora has an item, that's a nice 300 that'll get us closer.
Yep, it looks like I would expect Walter to grab it here, but gonna go up to Tower of Hera regardless. Actually, with that hammer, he can get to the east side of the mountain.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
can.
even think about that. That's a lot of checks.
Yeah, I think you do Hera first, then you do east side.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Assuming you can do Hera. We don't have a hook shot to break it, and if the big key is in the basement, we will not be able to do this. And starting with a small key is not exactly what you want to see here.
Nope. 50-50 on big key in the lobby chest or big...
Walter, the fairy. Now he's just gonna
That's...
mirror out.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst there in the world because
No,
he
and he said
was
3
death
hearts.
warping. He was death warping for the refill.
And he got the refill. Yeah, so we can't do Hera right now. No hook shot to break it, no big key. Also, with a compass as the second item down there, it makes it a little more likely that the big chest may actually have something useful. So when they come back here, it might be it'll be an interesting decision to see if the runners choose to Hera pot if they have hook shot by then.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unlikely as you laid out there, but it is an option still.
Okay, Aussie. Where are you going? I'm gonna do some fake flippering.
Doesn't have money, but... Oh, okay, is going to Zora's
Okay.
domain. Got the Moon Pearl, so gonna be waterfall checks for sure.
Yeah, looks like Hitaka's gonna follow Walter into Hera. Hitaka gets all that money.
And there's the hook shot. And there's the sword.
Nice. So Hitaka's gonna get that sword. Asi gets that hook shot. And the nice thing for Asi and Hitaka's probably gonna get that hook shot right after he finishes Death Mountain. But he'll be able to, he's got the money for Zora to do at the end of it, so.
Yeah, so for Hitaka, the biggest question right now is just whether he can skip Hobo, which Asi's going to be telling him in a few seconds here.
Yep.
I guess since we have the mirror, it is a bit noteworthy. We did see a second sword on the Lake Hylia island there.
Looks like it was just was that a bottle sitting there? I didn't quite see what was on the hobo.
It was just a piece of heart.
Oh, okay. Hitaka gets that sword.
And then Paradox Cave here. Biggest cache of chests outside of a dungeon left. But nothing so far.
I got 2 more chances. We got 1 more chance. That mushroom may or may not be something.
Yep. There was a bottle in the lower part of it, but we already found one of those in Kakariko, so not really a concern.
Yeah, not really interesting.
Oh, and there was a power glove in there that I missed too.
The glove is more important. Yeah, I missed it too, but that's Dark World access for everybody.
Yeah, only problem is it's not Dark World Death Mountain access, so there's still Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave getting left behind here,
Yep.
but you can come back. You have to come back for Turtle Rock at some point. Hera too.
Yep. Gives us back of escape, which Walter shows us flippers. It looks like Asi's going to go straight to Eastern, which is interesting because they pretty much avoided Eastern. Everybody avoided Eastern early in the first game, and it turned out to be one of our glove locations. This time, Asi going to check it early.
I'm kind of surprised. Like, I know that he didn't get the glove information from Hitaka until he was, like, basically already inside.
Yep.
But with Dark World access and a mirror in hand, I'm surprised that he's still going for this. I like aggressive Eastern Palace plays, but it surprises me.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm guessing it really just came down to he was just right here already, so just finish out the play. Whereas Hitaka's going to turn in that mushroom and then probably head somewhere into the Dark World.
Yeah, got your Hype Cave start or your Village start. Either way doesn't really matter. Mirror means you can kind of just walk around however you want in the Dark World.
Yeah, in fact, I should say Hitaka is probably going to want to go back over to Zora and get the stuff there. And check out the Zora item itself. Because he's going to want that hook shot. But yeah, I mean, we'll see them both hit. One may hit, I suspect one will hit Village Outcast, the other hit Hype Cave area. Probably going to see something similar from Walter and Wall Kicks when the time comes. When they're ready for that.
Yeah, and they're fairly close to that time because Walter's got his Dark World access. Looks like he's going to start at Hype Cave here. So he's actually going to be the first into the Dark World for these guys. And I guess while we're on the topic of Zora here, getting that information on, say, Hitaka's side can let Aussie know what to do when he gets to Catfish and incentivize that check later if he's got to go to Zora.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to see that information. Looks like Hitaka's having some internet issues. Hopefully, he'll get that cleared up pretty soon, and we'll be able to get him back on here.
Yeah. For now, unfortunately, it is what it is, and Hype Cave is also what it is, a total bust.
Yep. Not like the last seed where we got Boots in Hype Cave. Nope. Can't have that two games in a row.
Aussie's done in Eastern Palace, and there is a map on the Armos Knights, but nothing of real value in there otherwise.
Yeah, so he's not going back to Eastern until he gets to Pod. I don't know that we've gotten any sort of map check. I mean, it is all dungeons, so it for the runners, it really only matters that you know green pendant, you know, your red crystals, maybe all your pendants if you think pet is a thing, because pet happening in all dungeon C. I mean, it just ends up being just another check, so it ends up not being a big deal.
Right. Knowing your pendants crystals kinda matters, just so that you can start thinking about possible progression in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, but it's not the same as like a normal 7/7 seed. Just not as big. Oh, hey, there's a map check. There we go. All the pendants in the Dark World. Looks like all the red crystals are in the Light World. So we have green pendant Skullwoods, pendant Pod, pendant Mire.
Green pendant Skullwoods is... I don't hate it, especially if the Fire Rod shows up.
Yep. Yeah, Skullwoods can be really quick, depending on the item layout. It can also take a really long time, depending on the item layout. I'm not one of those people that calls it just overworld, because you have so many dungeon items, 3 small keys, plus, you know, the normal big key map compass. But if you had the Fire Rod to just finish it out, then, you know, I would do that. But no Fire Rod yet. Aussie gonna... Aussie's gonna finish this because he's got Hookshot. He's just gonna go ahead and Harapot.
And Walter's got a bow, so that's going to be some efficiency gain there from not having to double dip Eastern Palace on NewSwagaJackson's side anywhere. And also Pod as well. Looks like, though, Walter's just continuing his sort of water mirror route here. He did the Hylia Island alongside the Hobo, and now he's doing, like, here, Mushroom Turn In, gonna do Catfish into Zora afterwards.
Yeah, I like it when you can combine the mushroom with some other things. Not as big a deal if you have the flute, because you can just flute there, but still a nice way to do it. Aussie having trouble setting up this Harapot. That's not gonna work. I find it much harder to set this up when you don't have boots, so... That's maybe what he's running into right now. Yeah,
and unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the setup he's using, so I can't judge whether he's got it or not.
Nope. And Aussie does a lot of things his own way, so... I do feel like he's spending a little bit more time on this than really should be for an out of logic check for a dungeon that, you know, if it's if there's nothing there, you can just go mode it very quickly at the end.
Yeah, but he's committed to the play at this point. Not
He
gonna
sure
say
is.
no.
Meanwhile, we got wall kits in Thieves Town, so.
Yeah, I didn't catch what the first check in Thieves Town was, but I saw the second was a map, and he doesn't have a small key. So.
Okay, we're gonna get a big key in one of these. There's that big key. Looks like Ossie's just gonna bail on that check.
One item front of Thieves Town. It could be worse, I guess.
Okay, looks like we're gonna get to see what's on Zora over on Walter's side.
Yeah, I think chat was saying a fire rod on the ledge. I didn't catch it, but Aussie didn't scout it when he was there
No, he didn't.
earlier. So if Hitaka doesn't go up or didn't go up to Zora in what we haven't seen of his because of unfortunate issues, then they may not know about that.
Yeah, I bet they do. Like, it just makes sense to send Hidaka. I mean, since it is a hook shot, and hook shot's such an important item, I can't imagine that you don't just go straight, get your hook shot, and do the other two checks. In fact, I think maybe one of the reasons why Aussie didn't scout it may have been because they knew Hidaka was going to go there sooner rather than later. Because if you're gonna, if you don't get anything in the waterfall ferry, you probably put the rest of that check off a lot longer.
Yeah, so I think it works out well for Shaktool's digging game there, or at least it's not a critical miss.
Right. Yeah, they'll get to it. I forget where the flippers were. We saw them on Walter's side. Walkix hasn't picked them up yet.
I feel like the flippers were like mini Mulroom Cave or something, but I could just be...
Nah, it was something a little further along than that, but it was, it wasn't something super difficult.
Back of Escape.
Oh, Back of Escape. Polar Bear Bunny to the rescue.
Yeah. But yeah, that's not a huge issue.
Yeah.
And
now,
I think,
Aussie's stream is fine, so hopefully we can get that straightened out on our end. But, so I don't know what's going on with that one. Oh, powder in the Maiden's chest.
Yeah, we've got a hammer, so we can immediately go turn that in, even without the mitts.
Yeah, it's nice you don't have to worry about mirroring in the right place and losing portals and not being able to do other stuff. And so. Yeah, there we got Aussie back.
Yep, going for Hype Cave. We unfortunately know nothing's here, but it's a super dense location that you're always really loath to skip.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to win very many games doing a lot of Hype Cave skips, so. Okay, Wall kicks into the blind fight.
Walter going for the Eastern Pod combo play. He can fully clear both. And good news for Aussie, he's going to get his bow before going into Eastern Palace. So, or I mean, before going into Palace of Darkness. Sorry.
Yeah. Also good news. Looks like Hitaka's internet's come back, so hopefully we can get that fixed up on the SG side of things. So we'll be able to see what's going on his end of things.
Yeah, this is likely gonna, as chat's saying, it's likely gonna result in Aussie just looping all the way up to the fire rod at Zora Ledge.
Yep.
Although, you know, Aussie, did he grab the flippers? I don't think he did.
I don't know if he has yet. He does have the bow for a splash delete if he wants to do that.
Yeah, that's a very lucky find because I don't think he would have known about the bow at that time.
Yeah.
And looks like we have Hitaka
There
back,
we go.
who's
There's
in the
Hitaka.
Zora area.
Yay.
Did
Oh, looks
Hitaka
like
not-
I'm guessing he did a double dip there because if you look at his rupees, that's a lot less than he had before.
Yeah, he
Um,
must.
So
must
he
have
probably
not
went
had
there. Yeah, I
without
bet
flippers,
I bet he went there without the flippers and saw the fire rod and is just getting that fire rod right now. Yeah, the one thing about quick swap that just drives those of us comms and probably even more so our trackers, we don't get to see the menus as often. So, you can see through the quick swap some of the active items, but things like flippers, yeah, we'll find out when Asi jumps into the water whether he has them or not.
Yeah. Although actually, he's got a mirror and he's in the graveyard area. So if he doesn't have him, he's gonna just drop down and get them very shortly here.
Yep. I mean, he's gonna know where they are at this point, so.
Yeah, I mean, Hitaka has them, so that info is available.
Yep, exactly.
Also, I missed wall kicks grabbing the mitts somewhere out of that.
Oh,
But
so
he's
did
got
I.
mitts.
Probably it had to be Village Outcast or maybe somewhere in Thievestown. Ah, Magic Bat.
Good to be able to turn that in immediately after using the mirror and the hammer.
Yep,
And then
shout
going
outs
and getting
to-
the smith.
Yeah, shout outs to our trackers, Yoinker's Life and Dark Diplomat, always on top of these things. We couldn't do this without them. I always call them the MVPs of our leagues and tournaments, so.
Yep. And new for this season, they're on the screen. Shout them out.
Yeah,
there.
I think, we get to shout them out even better. You know, they're just right there in front of us.
So lots of items hidden more or less directly behind that magic powder. Ether as well.
Yep.
Guess we don't actually know if we need that, but
Yeah, the medallions are always a big to be determined until we actually go check out Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. Hitaka looks like he's just gonna go ahead and clear Skullwoods right now. Asi gonna do things from the south, it looks like. Maybe he'll do Pod Eastern at this point.
yeah, that would be a definite option with a bow in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bows, we did see one at the smith as well.
Oh.
So that's our silver arrows.
No, we might see more runners with silver arrows. It was interesting. Only Asi, who's probably the strongest of the four on our screen. Not to take away from anybody else, and probably needs the silver arrows the least, is the one that picked them up.
Yeah, but sometimes that's just how the game turns out. You don't care about them, but you stumble into them anyways.
Now,
Red mail's for cowards.
They all knew what they were last time. They were sitting on the floating island, so they all could have had them. I would have
Actually,
picked them up,
you're
but I'm
right.
bad.
I forgot that detail of the last seed, but you're right. Yeah, chat's actually raising a good point. With the silvers being there on the pyramid ledge for anybody who doesn't grab them immediately,
Oh yeah,
that's like just mirror from Ganon and walk right back.
yeah. There was a SMZ3 co-op qualifier seed where there was a sword sitting there on the pyramid ledge that bailed a few people out. In fact, I think at least one runner who remain nameless, but happens to be on one of these teams. I think that put him at Master Sword to be able to finish the game.
Yeah, that's a good reminder for people. Fighter Sword is not great, and the main reason it's not great is because you literally cannot win the game with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's actually our second dungeon cleared. No, third. I forgot about the Thieves Town clear from wall kicks, but first dungeon for Shaktool's digging game, third across all runners.
Yeah,
The green
Asi and
bandit
Swamp. Yeah, Asi decided to go to Swamp instead of Pod. And there's that's why everybody was turning in that mushroom, that cane on mushroom. So you're not doing that's a funny one because you literally can't do fake powder with that mushroom with that cane there.
No, but real powder is rather conveniently placed this seed for how important it is, at least.
Yep.
But I do really love the swamp play in co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you take a guy, do swamp early, do it aggressively, get all the items, do left side, and then the other guy can just go mode it.
I'm fairly anti left side swamp in Soul, but in co-op, I think doing it, especially doing it ahead of time, makes a lot more sense. Although I'm still not a huge fan if you don't get any dungeon items, because I just hate that making it possible to get over there to the left side and you get a map and a compass, or even worse, a map and a big key, and then the compass is in the big chest or something like that.
Yeah, that one does always feel really bad, but
pretty rare though.
And it still feels a little bit better in co-op than it does.
Yeah, a lot of things feel better in co-op. Okay, Wall Kick's gonna pick up his hook shot.
Yep. Hasn't had a need for it before now, so just hasn't gone. But also gonna grab his fire rod here too, as soon as he can swim around to it.
Nothing on left side, but at least it's over and done, and Hitaka won't have to worry about it.
And it wasn't quite map and compass levels of bad.
It was bombs. I mean, it was an item at least, so it's not, Yeah,
it's not going to be bothering
feels bad,
anybody.
but if you finish the dungeon, then you're, is there still an item left, and you have to make the decision then. And now you just don't have to make that decision, so.
Yep. And that's why even if it's not necessarily the optimal play, I like doing left side swamp early wherever I can. Just get that peace of mind right away.
Okay, Hitaka finishing up Skullwoods. Looks like there was nothing there, just that piece of heart. So I suspect he'll head into Thieves Town, which should lead him to some powder, which should lead him to some good stuff, like a mitts.
Yeah, mitts, a bow, an ether medallion. Pretty good for just hidden behind the fetch quest.
It looks like they're It looks like Hitaka's trying to figure out what his next play is. I feel like it should be just go straight into Village Outcast / Thieves Town. It looks like that is what he's doing.
Yeah, I think he was trying to weigh the northern checks, but yeah, not worth it at this point for him, I don't think.
I mean, it's really just 2 checks. We don't have a cape. Oh, he doesn't have a cape to get the bumper ledge item if there is something there. Ideally, you'd rather do that with boots so you can get the 4 checks.
Yeah. Speaking of boots, we're about to find out if they're required. But nope.
Not at all. Well, I mean, unless big key on the torch in GT, but yeah, not required for desert.
Yeah, and we don't speak of that one here.
No.
Not the GT one.
No, it's not. I mean, all dungeons is probably not as bad as in other modes because chances are they're gonna run into the boots anyway. But yeah, we don't want to see that.
I'm looking over the trackers here, and I'm trying to think through. We're missing an ice rod.
Yep.
And besides that, it's just maybe medallions. Not even that if we're double ether. We're 30 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, it's co-op. Co-op, you can get to go mode a lot faster. I wouldn't call any of this a good go mode. We have 1 player on Master Sword, 3 players on Fighter Sword.
All those players do know where their Master Sword is.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, and those silver arrows are available, so it's not the worst. But yeah, it's certainly not the nicest either. But, we could end up with a good old-fashioned ice rod hunt, because you know how much fun those are.
Good news is that co-op, you're at least hunting twice as fast.
Yes. Yeah, she's gonna pick up his sword.
Walther's got Helmasaur's helmet down, but needs to play it safe here. Taking 2 hits this fight already. Unloading the arrows. I think just 2 more? Yep.
There it is.
That's a Helmasaur King down for Walther, and that's the end of the Eastern pod play for him. And actually, there's Walkix killing Lane Molas at the same time.
For a map. I didn't see if he cleared up the rest of desert. But it looks like there's 2 items in desert.
Big Key was on the right side of desert, so...
Oh yeah, so then he's probably cleaned it up. Which means there was really nothing there. Aussie gonna pick up his fire rod. We may or may not see a lamp in the seat. I expect we will eventually see it, just because, again, all dungeons we're probably gonna run into it, but...
Walkix has a lamp. I'm guessing that was probably in... Yeah, I'm guessing that was probably in the desert mire area.
Yep, probably right here.
I missed it.
Looks like there's an item in the big chest, so he's gonna pick that up right now.
Yeah, the old Desert Palace big chest skip. Mirror makes it feel a lot better.
Yeah, I like this if you're if you're on the right side and you have 1 item left, might as well see if it's on land mode. If it's not, it's easy enough to just go back in and get it. Okay. Yeah, actually, now doing Pod Eastern.
Yeah. But honestly, like, that mirror is kind of why using book as your desert entry just low-key is kind of not fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There's nothing good about using book for your desert entry.
Yeah, because you mirror and then you go back to the middle door and it's just like, oh.
There's a sword. Okay, now everyone will be untempered. Yeah, this is a easy enough location that everybody should get to it. His wall kick's gone to where we can actually see the medallion. It is ether, which we have.
Yep, so just need that Turtle Rock medallion knowledge, the medallion itself, and
the ice rod. So 1 or 2 items from go. It looks like the new stuff we're going to see is over on Wallkick side, because we've seen Thieves Town, we've seen Pod, we've seen Swamp. We'll see if Walter chooses to do left side as well. I suspect he will. Hitaka into his blind fight. And Wallkick's going to make his first check in Mire. Small key. Mire's a funny dungeon because it's got 3 small keys, but you don't need them for anything but that left side. Like, you can get to the boss without any small keys.
Yeah, and that's what makes it such an interesting play, both in co-op like we're seeing now and Key Sanity, which we'll probably see later. Hey, there's Quake. That's another medallion.
Yeah, it's especially interesting in Key Sanity because it takes all 3 small keys to put that right side in logic. Whereas the rest of the dungeon, you don't need any, which is a very weird dynamic, I find.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many extra just doors in this dungeon.
Yeah. Yep, the doors that you never go through. There's a rupee door at the basement that, I mean, I guess if you're really short on rupees, maybe you go there, but I've literally never seen a player go there. Okay, so that small, and here's the other bit of key logic. That small key there in the compass room means the big key will be vanilla.
Yep, and that means Wallkix knows to go straight for it. Also knows Walther's going to have to sit through it.
Yeah, we'll see. I could see just going straight to Vitreous after this, and then come back in for the items. Although I think he just hasn't gotten any items. So, like, if Vidi has 1 item, you're coming back in for 1, and it might not feel as good. So we'll see.
He did get Quake.
Oh, he got Quake. You're right. No, then I definitely would go to Vidi first and hope the item's there, and then if it's not, you can choose to come back or not. Although I feel like that maybe is more of a solo play than a co-op play.
Yeah, I agree there. I do think going to Vidi, even in co-op, is perfectly justifiable here, and it looks like that's where. No, that's not
Oh,
where he's
he's going
going.
to do the items, which is fine. I
Yeah,
feel like in a solo situation, if you go to Vidi and you don't get the item, I think it's a much better play to consider leaving the second item. And in co-op, there's really no reason to.
right. And that's kind of where I was trying to go before
Yeah.
Wallkeeks juked me. I think going straight to Vidi is fine for both solo and co-op,
Yep.
but if Vidi doesn't have the item, then in co-op, not coming back is, in my opinion, not very defensible.
Mm.
And I think that's why Wallkicks is just going straight for the items instead of
Mhm.
Vidi.
Also, one of the best dungeons to have powder in. There's like one or two heart pots in this dungeon. And there's the item in the big chest, so he would have had to come back in. So it's really nice to have that powder to get those anti-fairies to get your nice refills. Because there's magic pots everywhere.
Yeah, I think most of the Dark World dungeons kind of stand out in that regard. Turtle Rock's got a ton of anti-fairies around too, but yeah. Powder is a great item to have in those Dark World dungeons, and honestly, it feels like the combat difficulty curve of this game, the developers kind of intended you to have powder for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hitaka did fit. We weren't watching, but Hitaka did get those mitts, so that's that knowledge on Shaktool's side. Now, Asi making his way through the dark rooms of Pod.
Looks like Hitaka should be going back up here, yes, for the smith. So he'll have that bow knowledge and the ether knowledge on hammer pegs fairly shortly too.
So not going to be anything new for a bit. I mean, we're going to see Wallkicks kill Vidi, which is new, but it's not going to give us an item of any note.
I think it's going to be a map actually.
She skipped a chest, so I think there might be a small key at large, but I don't know. Maybe
I saw his key count and was like, if he opened everything else, I'm pretty sure he's capped out on keys.
Maybe we haven't seen map or compass.
Maybe.
All right, Wallkicks decides to go to that cape to finish off Vidi. I don't blame him, especially when you can spam the sword and not lose any magic. Hitaka picks up his first bow. I don't know if Asi's going to pick that up, to be honest. Hitaka probably does pick up silvers, because like you said, he can just pick them up at the end, right before the Ganon fight, if he wants them.
I mean, the thing is, Asi's going to have to go to that area for the hammer pegs anyways.
Yep.
So grabbing the smith while he's there is not far out of the way.
No, it really isn't.
And have we seen that purple chest turn in?
Probably. Chat will tell us. I don't recall what was in it.
I straight up don't recall Walter or Wallkicks doing it.
Mm-hmm. They may not have. Hitaka gonna pick up that bug net. It's an item I'm not a big fan of. I've kind of come to the conclusion that if you're using the bug net to pick up a fairy just in case, as that extra bit of safety, I think that's fine. I see too many newer runners in particular pick up those fairies because they think they're gonna die, and at that point you should just be buying potions, in my opinion.
The real big brain take on this is get the bug net so you can capture bees.
Yeah, but Hitaka already beat Skullwoods, which is the one place you can actually use it.
Actually, it's not going to come into play this seed because we've got the Cane of Samaria, but Wizrobes die in one hit.
I didn't know the bee could get the Wizrobes. That could be useful sometime.
Bees are just like fighter sword tier damage.
Yeah.
Damage tables in this game are wonky, so saying that it's It's not
Yep.
exactly, but yes.
I actually like using the bee in a mini Moldorm cave if I get one early.
Yeah, that too, actually. But that's generally early enough that you're not like, I'm gonna grab a bee specifically
Yeah,
for
you
this.
it's I have a bee, I'm gonna use it. Save a couple of bombs. Okay, Wall Kick's a nice palace, though. This is new stuff. And we get a red
Yeah,
boomerang, which is nice. But we don't really care.
not really, no. But he did slide right through that icebreaker trick while we were rambling
Yeah.
about bees.
Hitaka gonna get his Master Sword. See if he flutes over to the Mire area. Yeah, he's pulling out that flute. It makes a lot of sense for him to do that. Yep, there it is. So he'll probably get his Tempered Sword. We'll see that it's Ether that he has.
Yeah, and then he'll have the super comfortable Silver Arrow Vitreous fight if he checks the
Yeah,
checkerboard K first.
Well, he's got silver, so he's already got the super comfortable Vitreous fight.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, he's already been to checkerboard cave?
Checkerboard is a sword.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm silly.
That's okay.
I'm mixing up my comfort items here.
Now, fun fact, I actually finally got to do it on stream in the SM23 co-op tournament. You can kill the big eye before the little eye if you have gold sword and cape. It's actually pretty fast, too. Probably not faster
Wallkick's
than
found an
like,
ice rod.
Strides, but yeah. Ooh, in Ice Palace. Ooh,
Yep, right there in that freezer chest.
that's pretty big. I bet Asi goes there next, because Hitaka looks like he's on Desert Mire, which means maybe he does miss that Tempered. Although, on Master Sword, you might still check it anyway.
Yeah, it does
Especially
mean
without
that NewSwagaJackson is 2/3 go mode here. We don't have that Turtle Rock information, but if it's not Bombos, they're in go mode.
Yep. The game is famous for doing. No, Asi's not. Oh, Asi's gonna get his stuff first. That makes sense. The game is pretty famous for doing the. Okay, you have 2 out of 3 medallions. We'll make it the 3rd one. So we're not quite out of the woods here, as you say.
Yeah, but it's also famous for such hits as Key Under the Mat.
Yeah, it sure is. Would not surprise me if it was Bombos with Bombos in a Hookshot Cave or a Super Bunny. We've seen that many times in this game.
Yeah, something we don't see very often is the sword beam tech that Wallkicks used to crack open Cold Stare's shell there.
Did Hitaka get the big key?
I think so.
Oh, he must have. Like he went into because he saw the torch. So he must have picked it up.
Yeah, it wouldn't go to the back without it.
Not on purpose. You wouldn't. Not like I've ever done that before. Although that's more of a key sandy cross keys type thing where I've done that.
Okay, yeah, cross keys and that sort of thing, maybe.
Yeah, so Asi's just going to go ahead and do Thieves Town right now. I guess he's hold off. There's no reason for him to do Skullwoods right now. Just get Thieves Town though. Get that powder to get all the goodies. And if Hitaka does, Misery Mire has a bad big key placement anyway, so it's not like Hitaka's going to lose time over NewSwagaJackson on the big key location. So, I could see him going straight into ice after that.
Yeah, I think that sounds really reasonable.
And there's a fairy bailing Walter out. Come on, Walter. It's blind.
And sometimes you just press the wrong button in the wrong order,
yeah.
And then, yeah.
Well, to be fair, if you get off script, blind can actually become hard, so.
Yes, absolutely. That's why it's a boss and not like a random encounter.
Yeah. So what I don't like here on NewSwagaJackson's side, I'd like to see Wallkick's going to go ahead and do Swamp Palace now. we've seen Swamp Palace on Walter's side. I'd like to see him go up to Death Mountain so he could get that information about Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like this play, just because you are delaying that information. At the same time, though, we've already seen it on Walter's side, and they know that it's nothing. So he's just going to go mode it, so I don't really hate it either.
Yep. Okay, Taka gonna find his Tempered Sword.
Tempered Sword, Silver Arrows, the Ganon Comfort Pack right there.
Yeah, we're pretty good to go for GT and Ganon. I mean, Gold Sword is nice, but don't really need it.
Yeah, Gold Sword and Red Mail are just the oops, I ran into these items.
Yeah, for these players, absolutely. I don't like to say the Gold Sword doesn't make a difference in the Ganon fight, because like the 1-in-1 is non-trivial. It's not free by any means. But runners of this caliber are usually are very, very likely to hit it and not gonna lose a ton of time not having that Gold Sword. Players like me, yeah, I want that Gold Sword if I can find it.
Yeah, the free 1-in-1 on the first two phases there is pretty nice, but it's not. I'm not going to even, for top tier runners, I'm not going to call it particularly difficult to get it with Tempered Sword.
No, not difficult, but also not free. I think when we call it free and call it no difference between Tempered and Gold, I think we take away a little bit from the skill of these players and just how good they are.
Well, kind of. Or on the other hand, like, I know you and I both play this game, and there are a lot of people that play this game in chat. So for anybody who thinks it's not free, that's just a testament to the skill of these runners.
Yeah, that's true.
Because these are runners that have put countless hours into this game and practicing all the strats that they're using.
Yep. Okay, we see Walter going to go finish up Skull Woods. I think this is new for their side. I guess Wallkicks will do the scout of Death Mountain after this.
Honestly, yeah, since Wallkicks came to Swamp here, I wouldn't be surprised to see him clear out Pod Eastern Skull Woods as well before going up. Mm-hmm. Especially once Walter's done with Skull Woods and knows that it's empty too.
Yep.
Because at that point, you don't have to go back up the mountain later again for anything unless it's Bombos and Bombos isn't on the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wallkicks got like the phase 2 Argus quick kill there with the Ice Rod. That's always pretty good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like, Ice Rod has this quirk with its projectile being a lot slower than the Fire Rod. Makes it a little unwieldy versus things like Argus versus Landmolas.
Yep. Fire Rod's much easier to use in those situations.
Yeah, but when you see an Ice Rod kill like that, it just makes it all that more impressive.
Oh, absolutely. See, picking up his ether. Looks like he did pick up the smith, so he's going to go ahead and grab those silvers. I mean, this is probably fast enough that even as good as Aussie is, he probably net saves time.
Yeah, like not even just Ganon, but Aussie's still got to kill Vitreous and Landmos.
Yep.
I guess Landmos, it's probably a bit of a wash compared to Fire Rod, but Vitreous, silvers are nice.
Silvers are. I've been told that. I don't know if the standard NMG strat may be the fastest, but it's very close, and of course it's harder to get that right. Aussie certainly can get it right if he chooses to do Vitreous that way. But even if you do the standard NMG, just 2 arrows at the end instead of 8, it definitely makes a difference. Yeah,
and the NMG strat is very damage intensive. It's a damage boost strat.
Yep.
And Aussie's only got, 8 hearts.
Yep.
So might be a bit spooky when you can just use the arrows anyways, losing maybe a second. Agreed. Yeah. Also, speaking of comfort items, Lamp as well. Again, not strictly necessary for these guys, but doesn't lose them any real amount of time to grab, and it prevents things like the back of Meyer from going wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the back of you're going to save time in the back of Meyer. You're going to save time. Actually, I actually joke that in Turtle Rock, for me, it doesn't actually save time because I'll skip the safety ledge because it's because it's pretty. It's almost like a scroll, level like in Super Mario Brothers or something. It's still nice to have, and if you mess up, that Turtle Rock platform, it can take up a lot of time. So,
I mean, between the rails and the pipes, Turtle Rock is basically like 2/3 auto scroller. I want to say.
Yeah, exactly.
2/3 is probably overestimating a bit, but
yeah, probably. But there's definitely auto scroller aspects to it for sure. Yeah, the place where it would have saved Aussie the most time is not having it in pod, because he had a little bit of trouble there in the dark maze. But you'll have it for the other, having it for Meyer is definitely really nice. So, and there Aussie's going to Ice Palace, so. He's gonna get the Shaktool Sneaking Game in that pseudo 2/3 go mode.
Yep. But looking at the dungeons across the board, Walther, Walkix, both on 5 each.
Yeah, so a little bit ahead there.
Yeah. Aussie's on 4 in his 5th. Hitaka's on 3, about to fight his 4th boss.
Mm-hmm.
So both players on NewSwagaJackson at least a dungeon ahead of the counterparts.
Reminder that the winner is based on average time here. Only really matters if we get a 1-4 and a 2-3 finish. And then we have to do some math.
Well, since the teams are the same size, average time and combined time are basically equivalent.
Yep.
So,
it's just add up the times and figure it out.
Yep. The official score is the average time. Sum them up, divide them by 2. But for determining who won, the combined time is
it's exactly the same. And like I said, it only matters with the 1-4-2-3 finish. If one of the teams finishes first and second, or one of the teams finishes first and third, then they're guaranteed to be ahead once we do the calculations.
Yep.
So Hitaka gonna do Potty's turn to try and do some little bit of catch up. Aussie gonna do Ice Palace. I still want to know that medallion up in Turtle Rock. NewSwagaJackson just refuses to go up there.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I don't think they have any reason to go up there before they've cleared out the other 8 dungeons. Like, it would certainly be valid and probably the more popular play for one of them to go do it. Mm. But they've decided they're just going to play it as if they're in go mode and not even spend the mountain trip.
Although at the moment, I don't think they're clearing anything new. Hera is the only one that they haven't touched. We haven't seen Hera from anyone. And I kind of go back to when Aussie was trying to do the Hera pot for a long time. I think that was pretty costly, and he didn't ever end up getting it.
Right. But even then,
still a dungeon he has to do.
Yeah, and for NewSwagaJackson, Hera is on the mountain, so they're still avoiding the mountain trip.
Yep. I mean, pretty rare that you get to do Hera last in a situation like this. I mean, co-op, it's not uncommon for one player to get to do Hera last and just, mirror right into GT, but for both players to get to do Hera last, actually could be all 4 players get to do Hera last at this rate.
Yeah, and that's just sort of how it goes when you've got no reason to go back up to the mountain after an early trip.
Yeah, I just hope for Shaktool's case, with Aussie having trouble doing the setup without boots, getting boots would definitely help them out. Aussie gets the Ice Rod, putting them in the pseudo go mode.
Yeah, and let's see how they approach it if they decide to take the same approach that their opponents are doing here. Of course, remember, even though these guys are sharing info with their teammate, they're not sharing info with each other, so they don't know the state of the race for the other team.
Right. As is true in any randomizer situation, you can't tell. You're not allowed to look at the restream, not allowed to look at the other team. So you only know what's going on with your team.
Yep.
So Aussie gonna have a pretty quick cold stare fight here with this equipment. He didn't have full magic, but fortunately he had a green pot.
Yeah, no full magic, no full health either to use the same sword beam tech that wall kicks did.
Yep. I'm a big fan of that tech.
Blowing the potion there meant that he had 7 shots of fire rod to work with, and he just used 6 of them to quickly kill Polter.
Fire rod, having a lot of magic for cold stare is really nice.
Yeah, actually, I think cold stare is the one fight where I like having the gold sword most.
You know, it's between that and Trinex, and I think I agree. I think it's just a little bit better on cold stare.
Trinex is the one where it actually realistically saves you time because you can do the 0 cycle.
Yep.
But that requires being good at the video game like these guys are.
I could do 1. I could do a nice 1 with the gold sword. Yeah, I can't do a 0. Okay, looks like Aussie's gonna do Eastern and Desert. Sorry. Mire and Desert. Remembering my dungeons here.
Eastern Desert, they take about the same amount of time in the end.
Yeah, especially in Go
Not
mode.
really. Yeah. Actually, in Go mode, Desert can be really fast depending on
depending where the big key is. It's not a great spot in here. Neither is the Mire big key, but I mean, cutscene is not as bad as it could be. Aussie will probably pick up that Quake just in case.
Yeah. Cutscene test in Mire. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, he'll probably pick up that Quake and the key in the pot, and then he doesn't need to grab anything else to get to the cutscene chest, and then he just go to Vidi from there.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me as well. I was gonna say cutscene chest in Mire is only really a bad location if the compass chest to the north of it's not a small key.
Yeah. Yes, if you go to that compass chest and get that small key, I never have a problem with the big key being there. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, just I know where it is.
Yeah, and there's that Quake pickup and the pot key for Aussie, so it is unfolding exactly as you said.
And also a reminder, we don't know what kind of disruption was going on when Hitako was down on the internet. So it's entirely possible that during that 20 minutes or so that there was no communication between the two runners. We just don't know.
Yeah, and that could very well lead to the situation like we see Shaktool's digging game clearly behind on the dungeon count here, second to the ice rod and so on, unfortunately.
Yeah, they'll be better off if this is Bombos and Bombos is in a bad place. That'll be better for Shaktools. Obviously, for NewSwagaJackson, they hope that either it's not Bombos or that the item's on the doorstep, as we talked about.
Yeah, but even if it's not, even if it is Bombos and it is in a bad place, NewSwagaJackson has full clear every dungeon.
Yeah, well, I mean, they both have, but yeah, I mean, just would then be, they'd have a lead in terms of the other checks, essentially.
Yeah, but I was just thinking...
not much left.
Yeah, with the dungeons fully cleared out, there's not that much left. There aren't that many bad checks left.
Yeah. And there goes wall kicks to Death Mountain. Finally!
Yep, he's got his 8 boss kills. He can go to the mountain now. And I guess Walther gonna practically go mode ice here because the Freezor room is right on the way.
Yep. I mean, with Icebreaker, if you have that Canis Samaria, the only item that's really not in the way anymore, well, it never was, but is Ice Tea. So. As long as your item's not there, you're usually pretty good to go.
Yeah, and that's what makes Icebreaker such a fun tech. It makes Ice Palace fun to route.
I mean, Ice Palace just the way we look at Ice Palace just changed so much when Icebreaker was found. It just completely changed that dungeon. Used to be you put it off because you wanted to go mode it, because with bomb jumping, like in go mode, the difference between Icebreaker and bomb jumping is like 15-20 seconds. But in full clear mode, it's minutes. So it's just completely cheap. So you no longer, now it's like I want my Cane of Samaria before going to Ice Palace, whereas before it was like I want it to be go mode. I want to wait until it's go mode so I don't have to do all of Ice Palace.
Yeah, and there's wall kicks opening up Turtle Rock with Ether, so NewSwagaJackson. Yep, and they know it.
Everybody's in go mode except for that 1 in 22 shot.
Yeah, but that also goes back to if it did happen.
Yeah.
There are still just not very many checks left.
Yeah, exactly. It'd probably just be in GT somewhere.
Yeah, and with the way that this is lining up, wall kicks is probably like a good maybe 2.5 minutes or so ahead of Walther, maybe 3.
Yeah.
So if it is that, then he'll just get the advantage on searching GT. Walther may be able to just bail and start searching elsewhere.
Yep.
Or, in the more likely scenario, wall kicks just finds the big key and tells Walther where it is.
Yeah, definitely the more likely scenario.
And then meanwhile, on Shaktool's side, they are cleaning up the dungeons same way that NewSwagaJackson did. I expect we'll see them on the mountain once they've both got their 8 boss kills.
Yeah, so Wall Kick's going to be showing us new stuff. We'll see if the boots show up, maybe in Turtle Rock somewhere.
Walther out of magic here. Got that fairy, but then immediately
got the drop from the Bari. Oh my god.
Yeah, the fact that he needed that drop does cost him a bit of time there.
Yeah. It would have cost him more time if he hadn't gotten that drop. Oh my. I don't know. He might have that same green potion that Us used, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure if he did, he would have just burned it in the same way.
Yeah, it's probably true. Whoa, those cold stare puffs getting away from Walther, getting a little bit of a party here.
Yeah, he got hit by the falling ice, so he couldn't keep cold stare in the corner there.
Which is much worse when you don't have that fire rod to help clean up. Well, you do have the fire. We don't have the magic for the fire rod to clean it up.
Right. Wall Kicks is skipping that lava chest in Turtle Rock, kind of as you expect when you're in go mode and it's not the big key.
Yeah.
So, if you want to see this race run for as long as possible, boots in that chest and required.
Yeah, but Asi and Hitaka will skip it too, so.
Yeah, so that's just make them run and do everything.
Yeah, pretty much. But it looks like he's gonna at least weigh against that 5% chance of the small keys being in the lava chest and in the big chest, and go outside here. And he finds a small key there, so it could very well be that the other small key was sitting there in the lava chest, which is the one layout where you can't steal the key.
Yeah, and when you need to hedge against that, and you need to hedge against boots as well, I like going for the big chest there.
Yeah, it's not too long, and it's gonna keep him from having to do anything on Laser Bridge, which is really nice.
Yeah, 2 keys means that he is totally fine there.
And Asi looks like he's gonna do something similar to last time. Skullwood's being a pendant, so he figures to do that after. I'm going to go do Turtle Rock and GT and Hera right now, and then go to Skullwoods afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, that's a play that I don't think it really makes much of a difference
No.
in the big picture.
I liked it better in the first game because they had already killed Aga. But I mean, it's like you say, not a huge difference.
Yeah, because we know that it's an empty dungeon and that you
Yep.
have to do it, but you don't have to check anything in it.
Yep. And maybe he finds boots, makes it a little bit faster. In fact, I don't like the checking hookshot cave. Don't really like this. If there are boots here, that'd be really good. But I don't think that'd be enough to make the difference.
Yeah, and I could see wall kicks checking this on the way to GT as a hedge if Shrinex doesn't drop them. But
Half magic's nice, but definitely not. I think he'd rather have boots.
yeah, just get that peace of mind of that one check not going to come bite you in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Aussie does see the medallion to open up, and Shaktool's digging game now knows they're in go mode.
Yep.
And that's blink and you miss it. Try next phase 2 there on wall kick side. What's he got? Boots.
Oh well, there boots, not an issue.
Yep. All our problems are solved now. We just gotta find that big key and go kill Ganon.
Yep. He'll kill Ganon, kill a couple Agas, kill Moldorm.
Oh yeah, Moldorm is still a thing. I'm more concerned about Moldorm than either of the Agas.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hitaka still has to do Swamp Palace, so quite a bit behind everybody else.
Yeah, that's true. Expect to see him go do that immediately, and then definitely the mountain after, because he'll be out of other options.
Also showing why that Chain Chomp's room is a candidate for worst room in this game.
I still don't fully understand why Nintendo felt the need to change Chomps in a Zelda game, but
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Chain Chomps and Pokies. And then they don't even name the Pokies actually Pokies, like Hoku Bokus or whatever. But I still call them Pokies because it's just easier.
right. But the Pokies, at least, you can kind of buy them as a Zelda enemy if you didn't know.
Yep.
The Chain Chomps are just out of place regardless. Nothing else in the game is attached to the block the way they are, right?
Yeah, and they're nowhere else in the game. Okay, Wall Kick's gonna be our first runner into GT.
Yeah, and it's looking very much like Walther's going to be the second, but a few minutes behind.
Cool Papa Gumel saying we should call it the worst room in the other game for clarity for the SMZ3 people. SM has a very famous or infamous worst room in a game.
Yeah, Super Metroid's interesting. I watch SMZ3 sometimes. I can kind of follow the Super Metroid parts now.
That's good. And there's the big key. For those of you counting at home, what was that, number 2? Yeah, because the torch... Did he go to the Hope Room? I don't think he did.
I'm not sure. I wasn't paying that much attention. So, okay. Chat saying that 2 is the winner, so no Hope Room there. And he took the optimal route, that means. Which also means Walter's going to do it.
Yep. Kind of nice when there is a nice optimal route like that.
I mean, there always is. You just have to stumble into it.
Yeah. Well, nice. They're not always nice, though. Okay, Walter heading over to his Trinex fight as Wall Kicks starts his climb.
Yep, he's climbing. Walter is right on his way to Trinex. Aussie not very far behind, although is going to have to check Laser Bridge. Has no small keys. I think Aussie skipped the big chest.
Yeah, well, now we get to find out whether this was the 5%. Well, it's less than 5%, but that less than 5% layout where there's the other small keys in the lava chest. You don't expect your opponent to not make that play, so you make that play with the expectation that your opponent also makes this play. So if it's wrong, which it isn't, okay, then everybody's paying the price. But this time, if that last chest hadn't been a small key, Aussie's mirroring back to Mimic Cave and has to go get a key somewhere, or mirroring back to the front because he didn't go to Mimic Cave.
Yeah, but the vanilla key does bail Aussie out there. All good.
Yep.
Nothing to worry about. And it also means that he can tell Hitaka that, yeah, you can skip that big chest.
Yep. Walter gets his boots. See, in his Trinex fight.
Looks like he's in a good spot for this, so he's going to get a double spin as soon as this explosion stops. Slash, and there's a dead worm.
Actually, nice dual kills from Hitaka and Aussie at the same time. Hitaka on the end of Swamp Palace.
Yep, which means, unfortunately, for Shaktool's digging game, Hitaka is an entire Turtle Rock behind the rest of the pack here.
Yep. Yep. But fortunately for Shaktool's digging game, Aussie this time has the boots. Will have a much easier time with the Harapot. And this is kind of what I was talking about when he was trying to do it earlier and failing. It just didn't seem worth it when it was, it's still an out of logic check. Maybe you do it later and you have boots.
Yeah. Especially with the risk of leaving an item in the big chest there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it could have been, if there was something upstairs not in the big chest, it could have been a real turning point to have us be able to tell that to Hitaka.
Yep. I do like how for a second there we had Walter and Wall Kicks both on different Moldorms.
And there's Aussie's Harapot. So now he's just got to kill Moldorm and then he'll be into Ganon's tower.
Yep. But yeah, he's also, don't be fooled, he's still a little bit further behind everybody because he also has to go back and do Skull Woods.
Yeah, Skull Woods is not as long of a dungeon as Turtle Rock, though, so...
No, it's a very, very quick dungeon. Getting there is the slow part.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, he is comparing his times to the two people on the left of the screen, not the person above him.
Yep. Okay, now Wall Kick's not going to jump right in to the hole here. He still has to do the Agaphite.
Yep, and that's just a convenient little mirror, and you're right at the door. Actually, you've got to walk around this pit, otherwise you're going to mirror bonk, but you get the idea.
Yeah. And this will be a much nicer Aga Tower than the last game. In game 1, they had to do this with Fighter Sword. Literally no luxury. I think they had boots, but they didn't have bow, they didn't have fire rod or ice rod, or I don't even think they had a medallion to use. Like, it was all Fighter Sword.
I'm trying to remember which runner it was, but somebody did some nice Cane of Samaria strats against the ball and chain guards in the first room last race.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Because that's all they had to work with was the Cane of Samaria.
I want to say it was Hitaka, but I'm not 100% sure of that at all.
But yeah, this is a very comfy dungeon with tempered sword, silver. Oh wait, well that's right. Wall Kicks and Walter never got their silvers.
Oh yeah, they didn't. Of course, one of them can just grab them off the pyramid ledge. The other one can't.
Oh right, because yeah, one of them got the pyramid ledge one, and the other got the smith chain one.
Right.
Yeah, anybody that would go to the smith chain after doing everything else to get their silvers really needs to maybe not be an invitational. They'll be fine with I mean, tempered sword. They got a lamp to do the torch glitch very easily. They'll be fine.
Yeah, silverless Ganon fight. None of these runners are any stranger at all to that.
Yeah, Aussie starts his climb. Taka's still in Turtle Rock. And Wall Kick's way ahead of everybody. Gonna go into the Aga fight right about, well, in a few seconds. Now remember, everybody's gonna have the same number of blue balls, so.
Yes, that's
So
true.
that means Wall Kicks can tell Walter, yeah, it's gonna be X number of blue balls.
He could tell him. Or since it doesn't matter, he can just let him be surprised and annoyed.
Yeah, that's true, he could. Now, there's one so far.
Yeah, and since it's not zero, annoyed was definitely the right choice of words.
There we go. Okay, so we're not going to get 15, but you know.
We've got 2 already, though, and when
Yeah.
3 is your mathematical average, we're already looking at beating
I
that.
know, right? Yep.
Or maybe not. Things are going smoothly now. Yeah, just a 2 blue ball affair today on Aga 1.
Here we go. Wall Kick's gonna go into... Oh, he's gonna grab the silvers. He's the one that got the silvers that he can't go back for. But yeah, I mean, you're ahead of your teammate. Those silvers are right there. At worst, it's gonna be time neutral, I think. So you might as well just grab them.
Yeah, when it's at worst time neutral and it's easier, more consistent, you go for it every time.
Yeah, exactly. And by time neutral, I don't know. I've never actually timed how long it takes to get that item, but it just feels like that would be the worst case scenario, is time neutral. Dying isn't so good, though. Let's see, does he have a fairy? He does have a fairy.
Okay. Not too bad, but still not time neutral.
No. Silvers can't help you there, though.
And he's through phase 2 now, so he's in good shape. Doesn't even really need to get the torch glitch with silvers.
No. I find, actually, getting the torch glitch just screws me up, so... I mean, if I can happen to get it with a well-timed fire rod shot, then great, but I'm not a fan of spamming the lamp to get torch glitch when you have silvers.
Yeah, and it's pretty common to avoid torch glitch here, so that you can set up, I think, if Wall Kicks had gotten it, he would have been in position to try for a triple, but he missed
got a
that
double,
fire
so
rod.
he got a double and, you know, only one more phase, so that's still pretty darn good. And that will be a finish for Wall Kicks. And he will cross that bridge with an official race time of 1:22:27. So GG's to Wall Kicks. And we'll see Walter can finish this up for NewSwagaJackson.
Yeah, in very good position to do so. Would take a lot for him to fall behind Aussie here, with Aussie having to do both Aghanim's Tower.
Yeah, we're not going to do the you know, Ganon Falls count or whatever it needs to be.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about what that number would be.
Nope, not at all. He does have to do Aga Tower first.
Aussie had a real nice snipe there to get the last
Yeah, he
hit
did.
on Aga too. That was weird angle.
Hitaka still has to do Hera before going into GT. Yeah, it's a first try Hera pot though.
Yep, so it's gonna be real fast for him.
Yeah,
Moldorm
Hera
should
is
be
so
similarly.
fast. If you get a first try Hera pot and you're go moding, it's so quick.
Yeah, like assuming you're using a good sword, this could legit be like a 45-second to a minute dungeon at
Yep.
most.
Mm-hmm. That'd actually be kind of an interesting statistic to find out how much time the runners spend in each dungeon.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not one of the myriad things tracked by the game or by the randomizer.
Not yet.
Yeah, they do add new things to it with most releases.
Yeah, I mean, this last release added a ton of things, some of which I think are really cool. I like that it shouts out the sprite creators, in particular. I don't know if I'm a fan of the how much damage and how much magic it used. I don't know if I like that one. There's just those two numbers that just don't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I agree with those numbers not meaning too much, but I do want to, while we're here, just big shout out to all the sprite creators, because you guys can see we've got these runners using a bunch of unique sprites, and those sprite creators put in a ton of work to make them as good as they are.
Well, and the thing I find the neatest about the sprites is not really so much the sprites themselves, it's just the details of like the bunny sprites and different if the sprite is pulling, if the sprite is running, it's all those different little when the sprite dies.
Oh yeah, there's huge attention to details and stuff like that on pretty much all the sprites. They're really well done.
Okay.
The Aga one fight was like 2 blue balls,
At
literally,
the beginning,
and then none for the rest.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Asi will be third into that fight, but he's not going to be able to go straight into Ganon because he still has to kill Moth. Get an otherwise useless green pendant.
Yep, and now there's Walther dropping into his Ganon fight.
Oh boy, the combos was on Ped.
Well, that's one way to learn about it.
Okay, I mean, that less interesting in an all dungeon situation because like if you've got all, in both cases, I think both teams had at least one runner with all their pendants done. So if that had been the entry to one of the other dungeons, you just go pull it. It's just another check. In all dungeons, it's just another check. Unlike, a regular 7/7 seed where, having to do those extra dungeons is a big deal.
Yeah, especially the way that NewSwagaJackson played their go mode assumption here, and they just did all the non-mountain dungeons before going up.
Yep.
All 3 pendants were in the main overworld today.
Yep. Okay, Asi gonna flute to 3. Wow. Walther already in phase 3.
Yeah, Walther absolutely shredding this fight.
Yeah, he'll have bragging rights over wall kicks for at least for the phase, early phases of Ganon. Now he has to just do a bit of a torch glitch, which he gets, and 12 spins will finish it off for him.
Yeah, he didn't burn a fairy though, so that's where the bragging rights are going to come in.
Exactly. Wall kicks had to use that poor fairy.
Even with the fairy, I'm pretty sure he had the faster fight though.
Because he had silvers. And a very good phase 4 from wall kicks with those silvers, so you can just shout that out.
And then Walther getting the triple spins here.
Yeah, this is a very nice silverless we're seeing from Walter.
Yeah, only going to get a double this cycle, but I think he's on.
I'd say that it might be done.
Didn't need a triple there.
Or even a double. Yeah.
That is GG's. NewSwagaJackson gonna split the series this week with Shaktool's digging game.
Yeah, I mean, with teams as good as these two teams are, it's really hard to go 2-0 when you're playing back-to-back like this. So, shout-outs to all our runners. Magnificent as well from the first game. Everybody did a really nice job. We had two very good races, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of feels like they were the opposite of each other in a lot of ways. Race 1, Shaktool got an advantage early, didn't let up.
Yeah.
Game 2, NewSwagaJackson got the early advantage, didn't let up.
Yeah, I still go back to Aussie taking a little too much time trying to do that Harapot, and we really don't know how that internet outage affected them. If they don't have another way to communicate, maybe they might have been blind from each other during that stretch of time. But we'll hopefully get to ask them that when if they all come in for interviews.
Yeah, we've got Hitaka on his Aga 2 fight here. Gonna have to go kill Aga 1 after, but Aussie's got his dungeons done. He'll be dropping into Ganon as soon as he can get there. And we are joined by Walther and Wallkicks. GG's.
Yeah, GG's, guys.
GG's.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think this seed is a little bit simpler than the last one.
Yep.
But I mean, you still got to play it and still got to do better than the other team, and that's what you did. Mainly, just getting to some of those items behind Thieves Town, I think, really helped you out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Walter for finding basically everything else. Like, I found Mirror, which technically he probably should have found first. The only reason I was even in Kakariko at the time was because I had a bottle, and I'm like, let's check to see if Walter needs to come up and get this bottle. But there was just a bottle in Kakariko anyways.
Uh-huh.
So I found Mirror, I found Mitts, I found Ice Rod. I think Walter found everything else. Oh, I found Ether. Haha.
Which was important. You needed that ether.
Yeah.
I do want to interrupt for a sec. Just say Aussie had a bit of danger in phase 2 of his Ganon fight. Something I think you're a bit familiar with, Wallkicks.
Like I was joking with Walter. Like I finished 4 or 5 bosses on 1 heart, but you know what? I kept that fairy, and it allowed me to be like when I was on phase 2, and I'm like, oh, I might be in danger, but I'm like, I don't care. I've got a fairy.
There you go. Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that if you're picking up those fairies for the just in case things go wrong, but I don't expect to use it, that's fine. It's the if you expect to die, that's when you should be getting potions instead.
Yeah.
And that's Aussie across the bridge with a final time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 33 seconds. Hitaka in the middle of climbing Aga Tower. I think he's, 4 rooms away? About 10 or the circle.
Yeah, he's getting pretty close. Oh, yeah, about a couple, 3 minutes away from finishing, I'd say.
I want to say, I think another big thing that kind of helped us was the other bow being on Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way that meant I didn't have to worry about going all the way over to Pyramid until I was basically going to Ganon.
Yeah. And we wondered if you'd get that. We both figured that it was probably at worst time neutral, so probably saved you a bit of time. It was a very nice phase 4 too, so.
Yeah.
We are joined by Aussie as well while his teammate finishes up Aga 1 and then on to Ganon.
Yeah, GG's Aussie.
Yep, GG's. Good race.
GG's.
Okay, so Aussie, tell us about, when Hitaka's stream went down, what exactly was going on for you guys at that point?
So, we were talking to each other, as you'd expect, and then he just cut out. And so I was watching Discord, and eventually he cut out there. Then he cut out on race time. So I didn't really know, how the race would proceed. But then He came back, and it turned out he just did Skullwoods in that time, and I did Swamp in that time, and we didn't actually have anything important to share. Or to
Yeah, I
find.
believe there was a whole lot of nothing in both of those places, unfortunately. And in the end, yeah, the big difference was NewSwagaJackson just got to the Thieves Town and all the stuff behind Thieves Town a lot sooner than you guys did.
Yeah, it's kind of what we'd guess. Like, I did Swamp and Pod for nothing, and he did Skullwoods for nothing. So if you get to Thieves for those myths that led to everything, then
Yeah.
you're in
Yeah,
a good
pretty
place.
much.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just how it breaks down. But I enjoyed watching this race on both sides for sure.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like a lot of people I enjoy watching playing this game right now. Always fun. Walter and Wall Kicks. You left us hanging a little bit, so you just banked on having. Did you just bank on having the medallion or the Bombos being just like in Hookshot Cave if it was Bombos when you went to Turtle Rock? Because you guys didn't go up there
Yeah,
to
we were.
check.
Yeah, we were like, it's very likely we're in go mode, and even if we're not, it's very likely that Bombos is just up on the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
we
'cause
just went with that.
Yeah, I think by the time I went up the mountain, I think the only non-mountain checks we had were Graveyard
Bumper
Ledge,
ledge and graveyard
Bumper
ledge, I
Ledge.
think. Yeah.
I don't know what. I don't remember what our 5-6 were in the light world, so maybe that was something that could have been available.
Yeah.
I guess.
It was Pet as it turned out for Bombos.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys, which I thought was pretty amusing.
I-
I mean,
Yeah.
in all dungeons, like I think that's kind of a big who cares because you're doing the pennant dungeons anyway. So
Mhm.
one of you
Yeah.
would have just gone and pulled it.
We were
I-
joking about blind poke.
Yeah, I was joking that I was gonna blind pull Pet, and that would have been really funny. Had that
Yeah,
been
well,
the case.
chat would have loved it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We do have Fitaka finished, by the way, time of 1:35:11, so that'll bring it into the race. GG's to everybody. And we got
GG's.
Fitaka with us now.
Yeah, GG Sataka.
Hey, GG's.
Yeah,
GG's.
we asked Aussie about your power issues. I guess it was a power outage. I think I saw in the race.
No, it was the power flickered, for like half a second.
Oh
even
no.
though there was perfectly clear weather with no wind or anything.
Uh-huh.
And so my router died, so
Mhm.
it took like twice as long as usual to reboot. I don't know why.
Yeah, which of course is what happens of course it happens while you're racing.
Oh yeah. Actually, it's done that like 3 days in a row now.
Oh,
It
boy.
sucks.
That's
But
not good.
yeah, I was doing nothing Skullwoods while he was doing nothing Swamp, so we didn't tread over each other, and we didn't fight everything, so it really didn't matter.
Hmm.
What was? I assume that it was different on the restream because of the delay. What was putting like on the restream?
The restream, when you cut out, froze right as you were turning in the mushroom.
Okay. Ooh, the suspense. It was Kane. I found that out.
Yeah. I think we all found that out afterwards, but
Yep.
we didn't get that information because you were the first one to do it.
Yeah, that was the impossible fake powder,
Yeah.
which
and-
is funnier
yep.
because mitts were on that. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did Hataka, did you do like a double dip of the Zora area because I know Aussie went there early, got his hook shot, and then we guessed that maybe you would go there, get your hook shot, and pay for Zora, but without flippers, you would have seen that fire rod and not been able to get it.
Yeah, I got hook shot and then I paid Zora and saw the
Mhm.
fire rod.
Mhm.
And then I was poor, so I wound up not going to Pop after I found the bow on Pyramid Ledge.
I don't think there was anything in pot either, so
Nope.
it's all about going to Thieves Town.
Yeah, we got baited by a lot of garbage.
Mhm.
So
It happens, and like I said before, I think either one of you came in. It's really hard with two teams this good to not split when you play back to back like this.
yeah,
So I think this is a pretty good outcome for both of you. I mean, getting 3 points the first week is a good way to start your season. I think for both of you guys. How do you feel about that? I don't know. Whoever wants to go first.
yeah. I think we split last season too. So
Yeah,
I
we
think
did co-op
so we're-
last season
we're
2 and
pretty
got us
even.
played.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
definitely
guys played the
up for that.
last week of the season and split, and then I know first week. I don't know what you guys did, Walter and Wall Kicks, but I know Wall Kicks wasn't even there. But Hitaka and Azure played the first race, and you guys split the first two. So I mean, familiar position, 1-1.
Yeah, we had to throw out a lot of Link to the Past Millions to get Wall Kicks to our team, so I'm glad it's paying off already.
Low key, shoutouts to my first invitational win.
There you go. Yeah.
0-14
Shoutouts.
last season.
Shoutouts to 100% win rate this season.
There you go.
Easy game.
All right, and of course, this season pretty similar. I know we're adding cross keys and some of the other things. So, what modes are y'all looking forward to coming up?
Let's see. Fat keys, I think next week is going to be pretty cool. Very tired with cross keys at the moment, but I'm sure once that comes up in a couple weeks, I'll be ready to play it again.
Okay, I know you're a pretty good cross keys player, but yeah, I mean, you're still in the tournament, right? Or
I beat Humbugger at about 2 hours before this started, and so we've got a game. We have to schedule a game 3 now.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck with that.
Next weekend. Just because we're on opposite ends of the world.
Yeah. I mean, I know. For maybe I mean good luck with the scheduling, not even with.
Yeah. But cross keys is gonna be fun. Like I think all the weeks in general are gonna be exciting. Maybe Sans Open, but I get why you need to put a normal mode in there, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm just hoping we can get to playoff and get that Game 5 Veterans co-op mode.
Yes.
Yeah, I played a lot of the veterans. I was bad at it. I played a lot of the ladder veterans, but it was fun. Definitely, I think it's a interesting mode. It's gonna be an interesting mode to see how it is in co-op because that money situation. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm the avoid entrance player on our team, but I am looking forward to the craziness of like Animizer and the other playoff settings.
Yeah, I didn't do so hot in the cross keys tournament, but it was good practice for this.
Mm.
The races that really count.
Yeah. I mean, that was 168 players down to a top 16, so that's
Yeah.
really hard to get into those playoffs. So yeah, Wall Kicks, you're definitely doing something right there, even no matter what happens in your game 3.
Yeah, just getting into the cross keys bracket is really good.
Something will happen in game 3. I don't know what yet, but something will happen.
All right, Reg, you got anything?
No, I think we've hit pretty much the high points here. Just good race all around. Good compliment to the race that we saw a couple hours ago. And just had fun. And I'm glad that we got to open the league on this matchup. I think it was definitely...
The organizers, I think, knew what they were doing when they set this one up. Is a good one.
Yep. So for all of you guys watching in chat, watching on YouTube later, we got weeks of this stuff coming. You'll have more of it than you can shake a stick at. Check it out. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a whole lot of really fun modes and games and teams, and we got a bunch of new teams in the Invitational. It's just going to be it's just a blast when we get to this point of the calendar. So looking forward to all of that. Anyone else want to add anything before we close this out?
I just thanks for doing the comps and the tracking, both this one and the last race too. So
yeah. And GG's again to Ase and Hitaka.
Yep, GG's.
GG's.
I think with no mystery Triforce Hunt this season, we're in pretty good shape.
yeah. I don't mind mystery, but the Triforce Hunt really bit you guys last year.
The % double Triforce Hunt.
It was there were like 4 Triforce Hunts, 3 of them were in your division, and 2 of them were your team. So
yeah, mystery is a super high variance mode, and just for that reason alone, I'm glad that it's no longer on the league schedule. It is a very interesting mode, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's gonna do it for us. let's look at the schedule. I know there's stuff scheduled for tomorrow. We have at 2:40, we have Noble Foxes versus the Tenware Farid. Apologies for my German. All Stars from Germany. That'll be Nobly and Obscure Lightform versus Tito and Magno Hato. Also, apologies for that pronunciation. At 6:10, we have Error 216 versus Don't Forget to Track Us. That'll be Thelaine and Error versus Flipeel and Ikir. And at 10:10, we have Magliacci versus Boomer Friendly. That's in this division, I believe. That'll be Moogle Charm and Orange versus Dawn Veneer and Leviticus. So yeah, looking forward to a bunch of matchups tomorrow, and I hope you all will join us.
Yeah, we've got a long list of matchups in the Open League tomorrow as well. So definitely a good bit to check out there. And that's just the official day one.
Yeah, I guess this is day 0.
Yeah. It'll be here all week, though. And then next week we'll move on to a different mode.
Yep, that'll be a lot of fun. That'll do it for us. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to our runners, Walther and Wallkicks on NewSwagaJackson, Hidaka and Asi on Shaktool's Digging Game. Excuse me. Thank you to... why don't you finish this, Reg? Because I'm losing my voice.
Sorry. Big shout outs to the trackers as well. Yoinker's Wife, Dark Diplomat. Wonderful people pressing buttons, lighting up the trackers on the screen, letting us have just the easy job of talking about what we see. And that will be it for us. I've been Reg. My partner's been the wonderful Tracy. And we'll see you guys some other race.